What up, everybody? My name is Kay Nicole, and I'm here with my co-host,
Mr. Nice Guy.
And we here for another episode of Intellectual Foreplay, a platform in which we can discuss each other and how we engage one another as men and women on an unfiltered, unpoliticized, and unapologetic platform. And today we have a whole lot to talk about regarding current events, our last event, and some of my favorite current figures of the day, like Mrs. Cardi B, 2020 for president.
Let's not forget, this is our safe space. So sit back and enjoy that. The following episode of Intellectual Foreplay is brought to you by RTC Training and Consulting. Welcome to RTC, where we seek to engage, inform, encourage, and inspire. Whether you are looking for a workshop, facilitator, motivational speaker, personal or professional development, RTC can definitely satisfy your needs. So, Intellectual Foreplay.
Let's get it.
Here we go. We back. Another episode of Intellectual Foreplay. I am Mr. Nice Guy, but I'm not so happy right now, of course. We're going to this segue. No more Mr. Nice Guy, because I've had a lot of time to think about this particular issue. I took a lot of heat yesterday on social media. Was it yesterday or was it today? It was one of them days. Yesterday or today, don't really matter, because I take heat every day, because I post a lot of stuff that makes people a little uncomfortable, a little warm in the poop suit. But this is what we're going to do. I made a comment yesterday about women's favorite hero, Cardi B. Unfortunately, she has not reached Bay level yet, but it is like you can't have an opinion about Cardi B. I made a simple suggestion, a simple comment, a simple inquiry that went like so. Cardi B is not talented enough to sustain her level of success. I will be more than happy to never hear another Cardi B record as long as she lives.
About to pull the Dracos out real quick. Let's talk about it.
That her career comes to a complete end as soon as possible. Oh, Trev, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Santa Cardi B.
Why all the self-hate? And you should be above wishing bad and people's livelihoods coming to an end. Wait, let's cut the BS. It is perfectly fine for me to form an opinion about an entertainer that requires fanship, for which I do not subscribe to. I am not a fan of Cardi B. I will never be a fan of Cardi B. And I am not any less black. I am not any less profound. And I damn sure have not lost any religion or have any self-proclaimed self-hate that some people say that I have, just because I made an opinion about an entertainer. I have nothing personal against Cardi B, but I do not want to hear another Cardi B hit record.
Little bitch, you can't fuck with me if you.
And let's start the show on that. Because you know what?
Yo, can we get into this though? Can we talk about that really quickly? Because I have feelings. You hurt all of them. I need to discuss this in depth.
Producer, drop the mic. Let's start the show. All right, Kay Nicole, what's your problem? Because I know you are a living Cardi B activist.
Nah, I'm not a Cardi B activist, but I am an appreciator of her come up.
And I saw some of your comments earlier today.
Yo,
on Facebook, where
Cardi
you said
B
something to the likes of,
y'all
Cardi
sleep.
B is not a lyricist, but she has come from a certain place, and
she's in tune with her community.
Her current success should be celebrated.
She sounds stupid
and looked at.
She acts stupid.
Can you please explain your comment?
But I'm gonna tell you what it is. I'm gonna say she is a sleeper for certain. My girl Cardi B, not for nothing. Like let's talk about just her music. What is she providing to the game that Nicki Minaj ain't? Nothing. Nicki Minaj is not a lyricist.
Okay.
She is not bringing us heavy bars. She's contributing nothing to hip hop outside of ass implants and girl power.
The difference between the two is
that Cardi B was a stripper, right?
No,
but
Nicki Minaj.
So was Eve.
No, Nicki Minaj capitalized on the fact that was with Young Money. She was with some of the most.
But she had to fall on the back of Lil Wayne.
There were no women artists at the time.
But you had your 2 minutes. Let me get mine though. So like, Cardi B was a stripper. No one expected nothing of her. She was on Love and Hip Hop as this regular, schmegular, basic chick on TV that no one knew about. I didn't know about Cardi B before Love and Hip Hop. I didn't follow her online. Good. I'm way too educated for that. But when I watched her on Love and Hip Hop, it was like she was saying, I rap, I got a talent, I got something for you. Like, just give me a chance. And she was getting played then. But my girl's hustle was consistent. She was dedicated to her craft. She made sure that she put herself out there. She took the platform she had, which wasn't even fruitful for Jim Jones. It wasn't even fruitful for Jim Jones, and she made it work for her. Not for nothing. I feel like just on the hustle alone, she should be applauded. Just on the strength. Like, you may not respect her.
Have to come to the mic.
Yo.
With bars.
No, you don't, because Nicki don't. Nicki don't come with bars. Remy's the only chick in the game today that come with bars.
Nicki Minaj
is trash.
She is. But Nicki Minaj was marketable at the time, and she had a back.
Because she wasn't a stripper, and nobody knew her past.
She was a stripper. Nobody cares.
Everybody wants to diminish her because she's a stripper. And she sounds stupid. I said Eve was a stripper.
Maya Angelou was a stripper. Like, nobody cares.
What card was my
Club Underground
Listen, all I'm saying is Cardi B's hustle is worth being applauded. Her work ethic is worth being applauded. And she's giving some hope to these chicks out here who are mad basic, that they could be anything they want to be if they just apply themselves.
I don't care.
Cardi B to the world, bruh.
I don't care about where she come from.
Cardi B 2020.
In her music.
I would rather Cardi B for president than Trump any day.
All right, well, we're just going to move right
My girl thorough. You can't tell me nothing.
It's obvious that Cardi B has a strong following, and
I'm
gonna wait for the second hit record. I don't think
it's not gonna happen.
I don't think she.
But she did it though. But she had one. Where's your hit record?
She doesn't have talent.
Where's your hit record though? Like you don't have one because you can't make one.
I'm not an MC.
But you couldn't have one if neither is she. But she did it.
You can't deny that she's not entertaining.
I didn't say anything about entertainment. I said,
what is your problem?
My problem is that she just doesn't make good music. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't care if that's she's just.
There's a lot of people who Migos makes trash music and they are hot. They popping. But they're popping though.
But that doesn't mean you are a good MC.
Does she have a spot?
I don't care.
Female artist rap.
No, she's not even top 50.
Why?
Because she's saying
there's 49 other women that's better than her.
Yes.
There ain't no 49 women in the hip hop game anyways.
Well, that was exaggeration.
I feel like this is again you and your respectability politics coming through and wanting to feel like the woman has to be a virgin and a Christian to be a good hip hop artist.
It's not a sexy
or she has to enunciate every sentence.
One of my favorite hip hop artists is a woman. So stop.
Who? Light?
Light and L Boogie. And Queen Latifah. Like, let's not play the woman-man thing.
Nah.
Like, I like female MCs. Eve, Foxy Brown.
Eve is a heavy spitter.
Lil' Kim
is one of my favorite spitters.
Lil' Kim is extremely over-sexualized, and she's one of my favorite.
I don't know why. Lil' Kim is the trash bag
Missy
that bred
is a dope
Nicki.
female artist. So it's not
Missy's
about. It's not about women. Yeah. It's not about men.
Right.
It's about coming to
the quality, the caliber of rappers, the quality and caliber of MCs, male or female.
Soulja Boy had the same hustle,
bruh, and he made it though. He lived
trash,
right?
And I deliver
and no one's disagreeing with you that she's trash, right? No one's saying that. Well, I'm not disagreeing with you that she's trash. What I am saying though is that her hustle, her work ethic, and her grind is worth applauding, given where she came from. She started from the bottom, now she here.
But I don't care about
Drake made a whole song about it.
I don't care about her work hustle or her where she came from or how she started began. I care about when she goes into the studio. What is she putting out? Like that's all I'm evaluating.
I have one question for you. One question. Is there ever a moment where you can just accept that someone is flawed and successful?
Absolutely.
And it be okay?
Yes.
When?
Now, because I don't care about the fact that she's come from something and has made a successful business out of it. Good job. You came up.
And you don't have to like her as a lyricist. I can respect that. But at the end of the day, you can't crap on her. No, we're not talking about lyrics.
That's what I'm talking about.
You're saying she's trash. Listen.
As an artist, as a musician, she's trash.
That song is catchy, B. That song is super catchy. You were singing the lyrics before the show came on. Like, let's talk about it.
That I love the song. You know what? We're going to move on.
Let's do it. Let's do it. It's a dead-ass topic.
No, it's not dead. It's very much alive. And I'm gonna
Anyway,
talk about it tomorrow.
in other news, one of our babas, our forefathers, our great activists of a time before us, but our fathers around, Dick Gregory.
Going home to glory. You know what? I got the news probably around 12 o'clock at night. Just got home from a evening with the loose crew, with the pack. Information came up on my cell phone, and I was actually really heartbroken. Woke my wife up. She was sleeping. She got mad at me for waking her up, but I thought that was breaking news. And, you know, I think we keep losing a lot of pioneers that aren't being replaced. Although D.L. Hughley is very close to that, you know, Dick Gregory status.
So
Still got a long way to go.
I'm gonna say something real jacked up about this whole thing. I just need you to let me through it.
Just be careful.
Nah, because I got a lot of respect for Baba Gregory. Like, I really do. I just feel like, man lived his life, dog. Like, he lived a long.
He was old. He was old.
Any of your listeners that aren't familiar with his work, you want to explain who he is?
All right, so
what he has done?
So Dick Gregory is a comedian, an activist. He was around 60s, late 50s,
I believe so.
and he pretty much brought to light and made light of the conditions of the hood, the conditions of blackness, the conditions of being black in America through his comedy, and it transformed into activism and advocacy.
Right.
And he was so
Dope.
thorough with it. Like, you had your Martins and your Malcolms who were scholars and articulate and knew how to make you emotionally evoke something out of you to motivate you for the movement. But Dick knew how to make you really appreciate the root of the movement through humor.
And make it a culture. And make it something.
And it was
innovative.
his baby.
Right.
It was his baby.
Being one of the first to perform in an all-white club. I didn't know he ran for president until I was listening to a couple documentaries earlier.
Yeah.
But him running for president, that was kind of dope.
84 years old.
But yeah, Dick Gregory always had jewels for people.
And he is very witty, even in all his humor. I feel like, personally, the funniest people in the world are the most intelligent. People sleep on comedians and people who have comedic timing as like gestures, as fools or whatever, excuse me. But Dick had a sense of consciousness and a sense of ownership of his community that he never let go of, even when he made it. He sold 1 million copies of his book, Nigga. And as a black man in that time, that was a feat in its own right. Like, you can't really talk about civil rights and not think of him
Right.
as one of the pioneers and one of the movers and shakers of the movement, because this was literally his passion. And when he stopped telling jokes and he started telling truth, that's when he really became a threat. He committed his life to that.
Right. And he sacrificed it all. Gave up all
Man,
his money.
listen.
Gave up his livelihood. The man fasted for 2 years. 2 years, no solid food for a cause that he believed in.
And so did
we can't
Gandhi.
even get people to boycott, with my boy Kaepernick, myself being one of them. However,
Right.
salute to
But he's
Dick Gregory.
a big part of the reason why.
Definitely you'll be missed. Part of the reason why we pick up a mic today. Part of the reason
And
why
talk all our crap.
all these comedians have a platform that they do to speak
DL,
openly.
Ricky Smiley,
All of them. All of
Steve
them.
Harvey, they
Eddie,
all.
Richard,
all of
everybody,
them.
Paul. Salute to Dick Gregory.
Paul
Rest in
Mooney,
peace.
man. God,
Rest
that's
in
going to be a
peace.
hard one to lose, too. But Dick
Yeah,
Gregory,
I just wasn't ready for that one.
Why? He was like 105 years
but
old.
In this climate, like, you know what, we dealing with all this emotional eruption and, you know.
But let's be honest, though. Let's have an
just
honest
difficult to deal with.
conversation, because it's intellectual foreplay. We need to be in our logic, right?
Mm-hmm.
We ain't expect him to die like next week.
Nah.
We just expect him to live forever and be an activist forever.
Are like invincible. Like, even though Muhammad Ali was sick, in my mind, like, he wasn't dying.
You know what I'm saying? I felt like it's difficult to lose people. Like, eventually Bill Cosby's going to die. Like,
But Bill Cosby done
Maya
raped 50 Williams. Like, we don't care about Bill.
Hurt. Maya Angelou hurt.
Maya, that's mama.
And it's just so many people that's still around. You know what I'm saying? That eventually gonna go home to glory. You know what I mean? And
Well,
I'm not ready
here's
for it.
what I will say.
I'm not ready for it.
For Father Gregory, like, honestly, job well done, life well lived. We thank you, we appreciate you, and your legacy lives on well past the day that you passed.
Absolutely. Intellectual foreplay. Salute to Dick Gregory.
Absolutely.
Place.
It's a good one.
Yo, so shout out to Intellectual Foreplay last week. We had our first successful event.
Inaugural event for the podcast.
Yeah, when
Promoted.
Adam meets Eve. I thought that, we had a good turnout, sold out crowd. We had some great panelists. I got a lot of good, crazy feedback via email and my Facebook box. I was doing my thing. I was talking to people, buying drinks, and I didn't really get a chance to hear the fruit of the conversation, but what I was hearing from a lot of people was that overall it was a good event. We need to keep it going, so we're gonna probably do something in November. So people keep an eye out for a date in November for the next Intellectual Foreplay. We're gonna try to give y'all something dope.
It was an
live.
Amazing event.
Yeah, so the energy was
ridiculous.
The energy was definitely way up. The people was vibing with each other. The moderators, shout out to RTC Training and Consultants. Shout out to Tracy Mind Evolution.
Ty was an
killed it.
amazing moderator.
Ty killed it.
Oh my God,
that was unanimous. So
yeah,
if
man.
anybody needs a moderator, holler at
Ty
Ty Richardson. Because he definitely held the crowd. He's very unbiased, but he also, made himself known that, look, you ain't gonna be talking out of turn.
He knew how to assert himself and control the crowd.
Yeah.
Yo, so listen, y'all need somebody to come through and check your crowd. Ty Richardson's that guy.
But
anything you guys would like to improve for the next program?
I mean, there's always room for improvement.
Lots of room for improvement.
I feel like for it to be the kickoff event,
we would like our
everything
engineer
went
to show
smooth.
up.
Everything went smooth. We got some video, we got some audio. Shout out to the vendors too.
No shots fired.
Shout out to the vendors too that
yes,
showed up.
Nasiki, Shay, or Lamar. Eli.
Katrina,
Yes.
everybody. It's all about celebrating
Make
the
it
black
shmoney,
local
honey.
authors. You know what I'm saying? So, the one complaint, if you want to call it a complaint, and we're gonna talk about this.
Let's
Kate
talk
Nicole.
about it.
I'm gonna bring this up now.
I'm ready to talk about it.
What was up with the female panelists, dog? It was a lot of heat. It was a lot of heat and smoke coming from somebody set up on Big G. Like I don't.
Let's reflect on this though, because
Right.
as
It was a lot of heat.
as one of the people who kind of had some insight about the panelists, we knew there was going to be some heat on the panel,
And that's cool.
and we knew we were going to have some individuals who were going to assert themselves in ways that would make others uncomfortable.
What was the topic that got people a little steamy?
Name a topic that didn't. Anytime, here's what I will tell you. As I was one of the female panelists, the women panelists, and I found myself even trying to peel my cohorts back because, and I'm going to say this being, you're Mr. Nice Guy, I'll be Mrs. Mean Girl, I find it very hard to find women who can engage a debate without being offended personally or combative.
Most of the time, do you find that women that are proactive in their thinking are either all the way to the left or all the way to the right with no inability to grasp and understand?
I want to
the
say
middle ground?
I'm very proactive in my thinking, but I'm also very grounded in my ability to rationalize and receive differing opinions, process it, and then respond. What I believe is that there are women who are very strong in their presence and very strong in their position, and they were not going to assert themselves any less than the men who were also on panels asserting their own positions.
Well, here we go. So there was a specific topic that I remember somebody brought up. One of the male panelists said that women, black women specifically, have begun to identify as European in regards to the concept of, can you have a significant other and still be pro-black? That is not.
Can you have a non-black significant other
and still be pro-black? So the concept was raised about women's hair, how they wear their hair, straight, perm, weave,
Right.
etc., and identifying the European culture. And I think that's what set it off a little bit, because I saw some people get out their chair, and I saw a whole lot of hands going up in the air, and I saw a whole lot of people disagreeing with that concept. And when I got home and laid down and just kind of, had pillow talk a little bit, I didn't understand why that was so confusing to people when, to me, I feel like it's pretty visible. I feel like we're in a socially conditioned society where I do feel like black women are being conditioned to the European social acceptance.
And and that was one of my things where I understood the point, but it wasn't valid. And here's why it wasn't. Because yes, maybe in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, we were conditioned to use perms and straighten our hair and identify with more European-like features. However, in the late 90s to 2017 to present, there are more white women assimilating to black culture. And so this is not a matter of insecurity in our blackness. This is not a lack of ability to identify ourselves as black women, but more of women understanding that we have the ability to transmutate and to kind of just allow ourselves to be what we want when we want, and it not diminish our blackness. And I felt like that was the point of offense made when the statement was created that, well, if you're trying to be a black woman with a pro-black man, then why are you trying to look European?
Right. But I understand that concept. Like, who told you that your hair was nappy? Who told you that you need to straighten your hair? Who told you that you have to put long, flowing, non-your hair into your scalp?
Well,
and I think that was a point the fellas were trying to make, but they weren't necessarily defending it.
But one of the women made a very great point, and she said even from the Egyptian times, they were wearing wigs and eyeliners and makeup to change the texture and the style of their hair.
Right.
It was never a situation where, where women of color were foreign to changing the color, the texture, the appearance of their hair. And to be honest, as the person who is not super hyper feminist or super hyper woke, like, I understood the point, but I felt like it was far-fetched.
What took so long, I guess, for the women to really understand the concept that men weren't really shooting outside the box? They were just kind of addressing a straightforward issue in regards to, all right, how come black women aren't embracing the natural in today's time?
They were embracing the natural in the 60s too, though, honey. Like,
but they still had the straight hair. I mean, even Spike Lee dropped the movie about that.
But you gotta think, when you're Angela Davis's and you're,
all power to the people.
You're Mrs. Eldridge Cleaver. Mrs. What's her name? Catherine.
Levi.
Catherine Cleaver.
Yeah.
She embraced her natural. When your Beverly Johnsons and your Amans were embracing their natural in that time, it was because it was part of a movement. It was significant in that time, right? And it was a political statement to say, listen, this is how my hair grows, and this is my blackness in its entirety, and it's beautiful.
And it's sexy, yes.
And so this is like the 2010s are not the first time that this has been put to the forefront. It's just been now that our generation, the Gen Ys, we have finally come to a point where we say it's okay to be natural, and we can work these kinks and these curls, and we can twist these bitches out and make it dope and professional and coiffed, and it should be accepted. We're less apologetic about our blackness compared to the Gen X's, right? Mm-hmm. So I feel that when a person makes a point about assimilating to European culture, it's
offensive,
antiquated.
I feel like
more than offensive is antiquated.
I feel like people were offended. That's how I felt. Because the way the responses were, the tone, the delivery, I felt like there were people in the audience that were wearing weave.
He asserted himself in a way that could be ill received to anyone who was hypersensitive to the topic.
But I thought his delivery wasn't aggressive. It was laid back. Like, some people may disagree with this. However, if we're talking about pro-blackness, maybe we should identify what does pro-black look like. I think that was my question initially. Yeah, what does it look like?
How do you define pro-blackness, right? Because I've been natural for 13 years, and I to this day have a weave in my hair. Like, it's not about how you feel about your people and how you identify as a black woman. Like, I'm very comfortable, natural, unnatural, makeup, no makeup. I'm very comfortable with myself and confident in my whole existence. But not everybody has gotten to that point of comfort with themselves.
So people,
in general.
so you feel like the women specifically felt like, whether I live in America, Africa, Europe, Australia, Antarctica, I'm gonna wear my hair however I feel like wearing it without social influence.
I feel like that's okay.
I'm not
To
that
be
it's okay.
unapologetic and
Not that it's
saying, like, I
okay.
just want to change my look.
Not that it's okay. Do you think that the social conditioning that we as men say exists in this country would automatically be an instinct if you lived in somewhere in a country in Africa or somewhere in a different
To answer
continent?
your question, I feel like initially the trends were rooted in the desire to appear more European because the European look was more acceptable.
So you agree with the men to an extent?
No, I said at one point in the day it was don't try to pigeonhole me. It was acceptable and it was about being more Europeanized. And because we weren't sensitive to the fact that our culture and our existence was what it was. But I felt like today, women are way more educated. We are way more empowered. We are way more in tune with our femininity and our blackness at the same time to say, you know what? I am natural. But I'm okay with being in a weave for today. I'm okay with having fake eyelashes on. I'm okay with having makeup on because I want to look like how I want to look in whatever moment and mood I feel like I want to be in. And it's not up to you, male, black, white, indifferent, to determine what's okay for me and my appearance.
Why not?
Because
Why
that's how
can't
it's
a
always
man?
been.
Why can't a man or a woman? First of all, everything a man does is off the strength of a woman. We do everything.
That's a lie.
We get our haircuts from women. We make money
Y'all
for
make that
women.
same
We
argument
dress
and
for
it's tired.
women. Our language is geared towards women. Our whole swag and our whole
I disagree.
personality is geared towards women. So why is it such a big deal for a woman to accept the fact that men, black men in particular, we're
disagree.
saying this is what we look for in a pro-black woman, and anything outside of that
But
is
what is
as
a
a
pro-black woman?
result.
Because I find myself to be very pro-black and not necessarily having to
That's very
subscribe
subjective.
to being natural.
It's very
or-
subjective. It's
right.
very subjective.
So you can't say as a pro-black woman the burden of responsibility is for you to be natural all the way through.
Okay,
and
so
be
let me
vegan
ask you straight
and be
up.
all about melanin. Like sometimes you could be pro-black and like white men.
This is a totally different conversation. I'm sure we could have a whole episode, an hour and a half on
Let's
this.
do it.
So let me just ask you before we. Matter of fact, we're gonna talk about this next week. Producer, put this on the agenda. Can you be pro-black with a non-black significant
I
other?
answered this question at Intellectual Foreplay.
And
the
what was your
event.
answer?
Just because you're pro-black does not mean that you're anti-white.
I didn't say
your
anti.
connection. No, your connection to someone outside of your culture has to be deeper than culture and race. Maybe it's the way that they treat you. Maybe it's the way that they grew up and you identify with the way they were bred as a human being
So your
that
answer
makes
is
you feel
yes.
connected. So yes, you can be pro-black and still have a non-black partner because bottom line, race and culture are important. But they're not the end all be all. Unless your definition of pro-blackness is you have to identify with my struggle and my culture to be about my people. And that's where the conflict of understanding is. Like there's nothing absolute about being pro-black and loving someone who isn't.
I
And-
disagree.
I know you do.
I'm
You
not-
read the
I'm
buzzer
not-
with the buzzards.
I disagree. I disagree. I'm not prepared to defend my statement today.
Because you don't have the capacity. Like I've had probably 3 drinks. And I could debate you this to the
I'm
earth.
pretty sure you could.
Like-
But I will come next week ready to debate my stance on why I
Can I
feel
tell you-
like
I'ma
you
tell
can't
you-
be pro-black
I'm gonna tell you something though.
with a non.
I'm not even gonna-
African-American spouse. And that does not mean
We
that
did.
that does not mean that I'm anti-white. Because I have white relatives. I have white in my blood.
I have black friends. It's
I
the
have
same
all of that.
conversation.
I understand
but
that.
sir, here's what I want to tell you. I appreciate the fact, before anything else,
Sure.
that you want to prepare yourself for this conversation because you're not going to win. That's one thing I'm going to tell you right now.
It's not about winning.
Yo,
It's a subjective conversation.
it's
because we're
subjective.
not going to agree on what
and we can agree to
base of
disagree, but I promise you, you will
pro-blackness
make
is.
less sense than me.
Okay, well, we'll
Okay,
see.
so that's just the bottom line.
We'll
We'll
see.
put that on the table today.
Well-
So when we have this conversation next week,
And
you
that,
understand
to
that
be honest,
you're having a losing conversation.
That hostility is exactly the
Am I
energy.
hostile?
That
Or
was
am I being
exactly
factual
the
and
energy.
confident?
That was the energy that was delivered at Intellectual
No.
Foreplay from the female side.
No.
So we're going to continue to talk about that
Let's talk about
combativeness, that unwilling to back down
No,
and
it's
just
competitive.
hear.
For me, it's competitive.
Oh, so now it's competitive.
For
It
me,
wasn't
it's competitive.
So exactly.
Because-
that conversation was not a conversation.
And I believe-
it was a competition for people to outtalk each other and for the women on the panel to not receive a jewel from Adam.
I believe that
Which
Adam
was
was
the
giving us
problem.
sound bites.
Which was the problem in the
Adam-
Garden of Eden in the first place.
Adam was giving us sound bites. And specifically, one was giving sound bites for Adam and one was giving sound bites for Eve. And so there was no middle. There was no moderate opinion. There was no rational and logical stance when it came to those opinions. They just kind of came out of principle, right? So when I tell you it wasn't women being combative, it wasn't just the feminists, so to speak, being aggressive.
They
It
were
was-
very aggressive. I have pictures.
There
They're pictures. They're viral.
okay.
they multiple
okay,
shares.
Okay, so
Somebody raised up. Somebody pressed.
because they
you call
wanted to be
Big G.
heard and they felt overshadowed, and I understood the assertion.
Was it overshadowing this? Because I felt like the delivery and the presentation of the answers to the question were very mellow from the male. They weren't
It
combative.
was, but here's the
and
thing:
they weren't argumentative.
when you're dealing with an actual real life feminist, feminists are not just there to be cute and just talk about women's
They
issues.
are there
what
to
they're
seek
no,
and
they're
destroy.
they're there to enlighten and educate. And what happens is her purpose in the whole presentation was to open people's minds to other ideals of thinking that they may have not otherwise thought about prior to that moment. So she was trying to fix the understanding.
Fix.
It was true. She was trying to fix the understanding to the best of her abilities with whatever tools she had. And what she had was her words. She had her ability to articulate why we need to unpack certain ideologies and why we need to really consider where these ideologies are coming from. And I understood her point because this is her life. Her life is advocacy. Her passion is advocacy. Right?
How do you translate advocacy into intellectual foreplay?
It's intellectual foreplay.
Because that's what the people want. People want a conversation.
And the
where
reason
that can
why
be
it wasn't a
openly
conversation is
received.
because it became combative. And what ended up happening was one of them, Adam, offended Eve with a statement that was very belittling. Because I'm gonna tell you,
How is that belittling?
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you honestly. I'm a woman.
Explain that.
And I'm not super woke. Like I said, I'm not super feminist. But at the end of the day, when a man calls me queen, I hate it.
Can we talk
To
about
my
that
core.
for
I hate
1 second? Because I'm here for this conversation. I'm absolutely
It's
here
like
for this.
sweetie or honey
I don't
or doll or
understand.
baby
What is the
cakes.
big problem? What is the big problem?
Because you know what it is? Y'all
Paint the picture, please, for the people.
Y'all semi-intellectual,
picture.
semi-woke niggas.
It has nothing to do with being semi. Because I do this all the time. I'm very like when there's certain women that I just kind of reverence in a certain way.
It's
or
respectability
I kind of. If you're a little older, you do carry yourself a certain way. I do that all the. Shout out to Lynette Johnson. I call her Queen Johnson
love
all
Lynette. Hey,
the
boo.
time. I just get that reverence from her delivery, from her there's just her radiance.
And I get that
So,
reverence from a lot of men too.
I'll text her
it does
and
not
say,
make me feel special.
it's not about being
annoying.
special. It's just respect.
If I call you my queen,
People have a no,
No, it's
Dwayne.
not my queen,
this
it's
is the
different.
this is the delivery. All right. Say I'll send a text message and I'll be like, "Oh, good morning, Queen Johnson," because that's how I address said person, said individual.
That's how you address women you respect.
Now, see how you
That's
just
how you-
see how you flip
but
that?
it's the
No, but that's
truth.
not what I said. So we're not gonna do that.
So
we're
it's
not playing.
not true?
We're not playing. I'm standing
So
on
it's
my.
not-
I'm
you said
standing.
reverence.
I'm
What does reverence
standing
mean,
on
honey?
my ground.
Define reverence if it's not
No.
respect.
What we're not gonna do.
Define reverence if it's not respect.
Do I have to pull the double clap out?
Please do.
Don't let me get the double clap. What we're not gonna do. You're not gonna tell me what I said.
Okay, so define reverence.
What
if it's
I'm
not,
telling
if it
you
respect.
is when I'm dealing with certain people that I look in and I get that certain vibe from and I have that certain relationship with them to where I'm comfortable enough to address them with that level of confidence or that level of reverence is the word I use, I'm going to address you as such. That it has nothing to do with, oh, I don't respect you, so I'm not going to call you by that name. No, that's just not the nature of our relationship. And even if it's not, sometimes I do address strangers as, oh, how you doing, Queen? My name is so-and-so. This is my event. This is my card. This is what I do. How are you? That's just me softening the atmosphere. That is me being respectful. That's not me calling you boo, baby, honey, sugar, bitch, hoe, trick.
No, we don't take it like bitch, hoe, trick.
No,
we don't take it that way.
Some of the responses that I've gotten, like twice, it was just like, oh, did I call you out a name? Like, oh no, my name is blah blah blah. I call Frida that all the time. She never checked me, but I call her Queen Free all the time. It is what it is. That's just me in our relationship, and I do that. But I do that because that's the nature of our relationship.
I get that very often. I get that very often. Okay, so here's the thing: the perception of
Queen
me is that I'm so.
You the homie.
Excuse you?
You the homie.
No, you think I'm the homie.
You the homie. So,
but you don't call me Queen either, and I think you respect me.
I call you Keith.
You call me Keith. You call me King Keith, Pharaoh Keith. Like
you rule the nation. That's respect.
But see, your respect is very masculinized, right?
You rule.
You don't give me soft and tender queen, princess, sis. You don't give me that. You give me
Mufasa.
Only get respect for you because I am dick-like, right? So like,
why you gotta use those words?
Why? Because
use my
true.
words.
Yo,
use my words.
Well, because
They're
it's
better.
true. Because, why?
Why? They're better.
You tell me that I can't be me as a woman. I have to be a man in the past life.
I did not.
You said I was reincarnated as a man
That's a compliment.
or as a woman.
That's a compliment.
For people listening,
Right. So my issue with the word queen, let me tell you. So I have been told by plenty of men that I come across intimidating because I seem like the type who would check a dude for not being woke enough.
Pharaoh.
And so, shut up.
That sounds like a pharaoh. I mean,
I'm not a pharaoh.
check a dude, right? Go from here.
But why does my ability to assert myself and demand a certain level of understanding masculine? That's my thing. Like, why can't I be intellectual and feminine? Why can't I be articulate and feminine? Like, there's a problem with y'all understanding. Like, it's intimidating for y'all to deal with somebody who's actually intelligent and emotional and feminine.
It's not a problem.
And able to cater and love and be soft. And it's like, y'all don't fathom that because y'all used to extremes.
We've had this conversation. And I told you that we don't have this problem. But there is a need-to-need ratio that women have to understand and cater to.
And I get that.
And feed.
Listen. But I can do all that and still challenge you intellectually. And that's where the problem lies. That's where the intimidation falls in. And that's why I have complications engaging other men.
And that's how the far left of the panel outshined the right side of the panel.
But I never asserted my intellect. I never sat there and tried to shut someone up because I knew better than them. In fact, I was trying to encourage my cohorts to be receptive because part of being smart is the ability to receive something that you may not be comfortable with and being able to process that and to be able to speak to that understanding. I have no issue communicating.
Either way, ladies out there.
And I get shut up. You literally interrupted me just now when I'm having a conversation with you about several things. You cut me off.
I'm addressing the same issue you just spoke on.
We haven't gotten to my point. My point is, when a man calls me queen, it's usually because they feel like they need to say that in order to start a conversation with me. And I'm just a regular, schmegular chick from Bluefield.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Why does that have to be an issue?
Because I ain't never been nobody's queen, empress, princess, none of that.
Men don't function like that.
In what way, if I call you queen, would it be disrespectful?
It's not disrespectful. It's just annoying.
Just annoying.
It's almost
That's
like
weird.
It's like, why do you feel the need to
Why not?
give me that much reverence when I've done nothing for you?
Really?
To give me that why do you feel like I deserve it though? It does. We have to question your intentions because everybody has.
So
an
you
agenda.
have to question why we're greeting you with respect? You serious?
It's not disrespectful. It's just,
if I'm telling you that's how I'm greeting you with,
it's appeasing.
If I'm telling you,
we don't want people who are not genuine.
That's whack. If I'm telling you from my mouth, I'm greeting you with respect. This is how I talk, and there's nothing more, nothing less. There's no hidden figure. There's no agenda. It's what up, Queen? How you doing? Have a good day. Oh, how was your day? Blah, blah.
I think
that's what I'm telling. It has nothing to do with. Oh well, why do you feel like you had like? You're taking it over the river.
Oh, first of all, I don't ever question. When people address me as queen, I never question them. I receive it.
Just receive it,
but I do keep it moving. But at the end of the day, queen is also substituted for the word bitch. Queen is also substituted for the word heifer.
Not never.
Like it is. Oh, all the time, honey.
Not never. I ain't never heard somebody said that.
When you assert yourself as an educated, confident, and empowered woman, they call you queen to appease your sense of confidence. Say, yo, listen, I'm going to stroke your ego because I know you're going to assert yourself as somebody who knows more than me and being woke. But, queen, I just want you to hear me out, queen. It's a way to pacify our sense of understanding.
And they're whack.
So that we can receive you.
It's all about the delivery. Yeah, I'm telling you.
You're right.
When I say
But the way it was delivered at that event was exactly how it was received because of the fact that it was meant to pacify a strong, empowered, educated, and enlightened woman to shut up long enough to hear what he had to say. Well, and that's why it was offensive.
Did she need to?
Sir.
I'm asking. I wasn't there. I'm asking, did she need to?
I feel like you had a panelist for a reason.
The people said yes. The people said yes.
You had a panelist for a reason. They were to express how they felt given the topics of conversation, right? And the queen, right, was very outspoken, very assertive, and very unapologetic in her understanding of why she was saying the things she was saying.
All hail the queen.
Right. However, the gentleman, the king.
Why he gotta be a king? Why you can't call him by his name? Why he gotta be all that? Why you gotta say it to pacify the situation?
But the gentleman who addressed her in that way did so in a manner that was pacifying and belittling. And
did he apologize? Did he apologize?
Of course not.
Oh, okay.
Of course not. And when she said my name is my name and I would prefer you address me by my name, there was no regard for that. There was, I'm going to call you queen because there's nothing wrong with calling you queen. And then like I called you a bitch. Like, and that's the problem. If a woman says I would prefer you address me a certain way, respect that. Just regard that enough to adjust your approach. He couldn't even do that because in his self and his ego and his understanding of the conversation, which was harmless, which I agree it was, he was attacked. He was showing respect.
He was stung by the bees. That's what happened. He was walking in the wilderness, looking at the trees, the leaves turning colors. He's plucking dandelions off the floor, and he stepped on the beehive.
So he's a victim.
He's absolutely the victim. Shout out to the victim at Intellectual Foreplay. We apologize for the unapologetic and the unanticipated and uncalled for assault that happened to my male
and
panelist.
This is why
we'll make sure we channel that again.
You like to hear yourself talk. And this is why, like, honestly, sir, there was no victimization.
Right.
It was a misunderstanding.
He's a victim.
There was a lack of communication, of effective communication between the two. And I could say they were both wrong, in my opinion. They were both jacked up in how they approached each other. But in no way, shape, or form were either a victim.
Intellectual Foreplay, let me remind the people again, is again a safe space.
Honest, unpoliticized, and unfiltered, and real freaking talk. Like, you need to just address that they were both wrong. I think they were both wrong, and I felt like the way they addressed each other was disrespectful, and needed to kind of just be a little tamed, given that they were considered experts on a panel. They were not presenting themselves as experts, but more like bickering.
Well, there it is.
Individuals.
We're going to take a quick pause for the cause, and we're going to come back with a new game, Mentally Stimulate Me.
Hey, let's do it. So, at IFP, the event, we played a game as an icebreaker called Mentally Stimulate Me.
Yes.
And we had perfect strangers sit with each other at a table and discuss different outcomes for different questions. And so
it's very fun.
It was a very fun event. So
great icebreaker. What you got?
So I have an example of one of the questions.
Yeah.
Right? And so feel free in the audience to think about this question, how you would answer it. Your best friend needs to crash for the weekend, but you're not at home. However, your bae is. would you let them?
Bae, wife, or like
Bae, B-A-E, is home. Would you let them?
wife or like
Bae.
bae?
B-A-E. Hashtag B-A-E.
Best friend? Oh, my best friend? Yeah.
No, your best friend's not bae, honey.
No, my best friend could crash. Absolutely.
Your best friend needs to crash for the weekend, but but your best friend's a woman.
Whoa. So were we speaking live? Or, okay, so
Let's just ask the question.
is the best friend a man or a woman?
It's your best friend.
All right, so we're gonna say E-Money.
But okay, it's your best male friend.
But my best male friend, yeah, he can stay. He can stay tonight. I ain't tripping.
Your best male friend needs to crash for the weekend, but you're not at home. However, your bae is.
Right.
Would you let them? A, no. B, hell no. C, sure, why not? D, only if there's 24/7 video chatting involved.
Nah, see, you know what I mean? Because if she got the key to my crib, there's some level of trust there that I would entrust her with my most valuable possession, porno stash, car keys, Xbox.
Answer the question, sir.
And then my boy, if he coming through, like, you know what I mean? If it's my best friend, we got boundaries. And if she tries something with him, he would tell me and be like,
So
you know, she
my
kinda impressed
answer,
me.
my answer would be C. I've had many occasions where my best friend
Yeah,
has
right.
been here
Ain't no big
when
deal.
my husband was, and never thought anything of it.
That ain't no big deal, right?
Yeah, I trust her, and I feel like here's my thing, and this may sound really jacked up for me to say, but I know what he's working with. So at the end of the day, if he wants to spread it out, then let him. But that's his business, and if she wants to take it, that's also her business. I really could care less. If I'm at a point where I have to worry about my best friend being around my man, I don't need either one of them.
Was that a shot? I don't know if that was a shot fired though.
No, not
I
at
felt
all.
like that was a bullet though. All right, what's the next question? We playing dirty over here today.
You bring bae to a family cookout. Your same-sex cousin sees food on bae's lip and gently wipes it for him or her. What do you do? Tell a family elder, check your cousin, check your bae for letting your cousin do that, or nothing at all.
So my cousin, white, like brushed her like you got a little bum.
You got some potato salad. You got some potato salad on the bottom
You got a
lip.
little chocolate. All right.
Your same-sex cousin sees food on bae's lip and gently wipes it off. Gently.
Did he use a napkin? Like he used his bare thumb? Yeah, a wet wipe. What was she? What was she eating? Though? I need to know what she's eating. Was it a piece of chicken?
What do? Do you tell a family elder because your cousin wiped some food off your lady's lip? Do you check your cousin for wiping food off your lady's lip? Do you check your lady for letting your cousin get in her personal space and wipe the food off her
You
lip?
definitely gotta
or
check.
do
You gotta
nothing
check
at all?
You gotta check the source. You check your woman first for like letting somebody. And but where am I? Am I like across the lot playing spades? And I'm like, oh, what right
Let me tell you something. My answer is C.
Check your woman.
Check my dude. I don't have a woman. I'm completely heterosexual.
Well, still big.
Like, huh? You want a woman? Listen, if my dude, I won't even let another woman. My mother couldn't make my man a plate. Period. Like, there's no way you gonna wipe some crumbs off my man's lip that I enjoy so thoroughly.
Yeah, he can't
No,
be
it's
cool
not gonna
with that.
happen.
He can't be cool.
The way my territorial has been set up, nah.
I wouldn't make a scene because I don't like making scenes. But that'll be like a.
I'd be like, yo, so you
that'll
was
be a
cool with
drive
that?
home.
You didn't feel weird?
Yeah, that's definitely.
That he was
a drive
all in your
home.
space?
That's a drive home
There
conversation.
ain't no drive home. It's like, yo, as soon as that
right
situation
there?
happens,
At the-
I'm gonna pull you to the side. We gonna have a quiet conversation between each other.
You know
but I
what?
promise that's gonna get addressed ASAP.
You know Aunt June watching you now.
yeah.
Aunt June and
Yeah, like, nah, we gonna have a conversation about that at some point because that can't happen again. Like, if we early in the cookout, you know what I'm
Is
saying?
it too much? Is it like, all right, we're thinking too much about it? Like, could it just be?
No, it needs to get
It has to
checked.
be
no, I wouldn't.
It does because I wouldn't let no man touch me. Period. Like my mouth, especially. I
She
would
gotta
not.
have that reflex,
would-
like, oh.
Yeah, like what is you like?
you know,
I'll take your napkin. I got it.
I got it.
I got something in my face.
I got it.
Like that would be the normal reaction.
Yeah.
Like if that.
It was quick and he was like caught off guard. Like she just reached up and he was like,
No, it was gently.
braids.
Gently.
It was like
Gently is too sensual. The adjective was gently. The adverb was gently.
It doesn't say caress.
Oh, like, hey, you got something in your eye, like.
I mean,
Sexy blow. Sexy blow.
no, the gentle caress of the lip or with a napkin or with your bare thumb is a violation of my territory. So therefore, you need to get checked because you allowed it to happen. Period.
That bottom
Too
lip
territorial for that shit.
bottom lip is very crucial
I've been a victim of
to body placement.
Next question.
Of the next cousin's relation?
No, but like I was about to get hit by something, so he like grabbed my waist and moved me to the side, and I was just like, it had already happened. It was too late. Like there was nothing I could do. But that was on the ride home.
If you had a gallon of water, nah, the cousin can't touch my thighs. I've had listen. If you had a gallon of water and saw your ex on fire, you would put the fire out, wait a few seconds, then put the fire out, set the water down, and let them put their own fire out. Water your plants with the water, and you don't even have plants.
What exactly is on fire?
The X is on fire.
Is her hair
Fuego.
on fire?
All of the X is on fire. The whole fire is burning the X.
Here's my thing about exes, right? I've never been the type of person to like publicly hate, shame my exes because I always feel like my exes have always been a reflection of me and my judgment and who I've selected. I see a whole lot of ex bashing. Like I see questions like this on social media where people be like, "Oh, what would you do?" Blah blah blah. But to be honest, I don't have no ill will feelings towards my exes. Some of them did me dirty, but it is what it is. You know, I look at their growth today. I look at the women they become, and I'm gonna put the fire out because they mothers. They somebody's wife. I'm gonna save a life. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get to heaven.
The way that like I'm kind of petty.
Well,
like I've had some exes where I was like, yo, you can completely burn. I'm okay with that. Like, and I'm perfectly comfortable with you burning. But at the end of the day, as a human, I will put the fire out. So today, in other news, random thoughts with K Nicole, I had been given the opportunity to witness a dialogue between many people about when it was too soon to discuss sex with someone you just met. Right? And oddly, it was a woman who asked, and I really respect this woman because she's so open and unapologetic about herself, how she operates, how she engages. And at the same time, it just was really interesting to me how it was nothing but men who encouraged her to initiate these dialogues as soon as possible. It was, let me discuss sex on day 1, minute 1. It was, it's never too soon. And a part of me felt like, on the surface it looked very empowering and very accepting, and how people in 2017 are very liberal about the idea of sexual engagement in the onset of a relationship. But I was reading this whole thread, and I realized that, you know what, this is why our generation is chronically single and chronically unhappy. I mean, sex is not your best foot forward. I feel like most men and most women feel it's easier to acquire sex before anything else, to get their emotional input, to get their mental understanding of who they are within the context of any relationship. And you don't figure those things out through sex, right? So it was very interesting to observe how people co-sign a behavior that they never subscribed to in real life. They co-sign and encourage a behavior that they would never subscribe to in their own partner. And so with that being said, I'm saying, do not let these niggas fool you today. These cats will tell you anything to make you feel comfortable with operating how you want to, and in the background will judge you and assess your character based on how you engage them from day to day. I was accused of having soulmate talk because I believe that if you talk too much about your sex game before actually having sex, you're probably trash in bed. And I was accused of slut shaming. I was accused of being presumptuous. And all I'm saying to y'all, ladies and gentlemen, is never allow yourself to be fooled by someone who encourages behaviors in you that they would not encourage in their own partner. Stay woke, stay open, stay knowledgeable of how people perceive you, because perception at the bottom line and the end of the day is always reality. So, you know, by all means, if you want to discuss sex on the first day or day after or the next day after, be liberated. Do what you feel is most comfortable for you, but never feel like what you're doing is never assessed. Your actions are always under scrutiny, always under assessment, always being weighed out by someone who's potentially seeing you as a partner. And just be aware, you know. Be comfortable in your skin and never allow anyone to make you feel like what you're doing is less than worthy of their respect. This is K Nicole. I'm definitely signing out on this conversation, but y'all bitches stay woke. For real.
All right, here we go. It's another episode of Intellectual Foreplay is going down. Catch us next week. And be sure to check us out sometime soon in November. We're going to try to have another event coming up. We're just going to come
Hell
up with
yeah.
another date. Yeah, we need to get another panel up there. We definitely got to get RTC back in the building. Again, if you don't have tickets, Elegance Boat Cruise number 10. It's the grand finale. Come through.
Is the grand finale? It's like the last
This is
event?
the last one. We're not doing this no more. This is the last one.
That was last year. Was the last one too.
No. 10 years has been a good run. So we definitely
Elegance boat ride.
Appreciate the support. We definitely
Come
don't
through.
sell out. Again, shout out Ignite Enterprise. We're more than just a marketing consulting company. We will do everything in our power to market your social media experience to make it more public to everyone, and we will make sure that Ignite Enterprise is the face of your organization. So again, Intellectual Foreplay, episode 4. Mr. Nice Guy.
K Nicole.
We're here with D Dollars, the producer. Shout out to Push to Start Productions, and we are out.
Producer extraordinaire. Apologies for him.